Three selkie fisher boys, brothers they were three. They had no mother or father and they lived for the sea. They lived in a harbour, Caius, for only a fisherman lived there and their pain it was the worst. Late one night in the brewhouse, the men spoke harsh words, turned their backs on the selkie boys and drinks they would not serve. I have had enough of this, said the youngest with a clenched fist, and before splinters with my brothers as my witness. You sit here like gutted fish with your hearts are torn, where we're full to the gills with your shite and your scorn. All of you men are sunken here, every night drowning in your beer. Where are your womenfolk? Where is our father? Your daughters? Where is our mother? High tide to tell us now, for we will not barter. And he cast his green glinting eyes over the brewhouse like bait. And no one breathed until at last, as a whale would blow its breaching blast, the brewhouse let out its final gasp. An old man stood and said, I knew this day would come. He knocked back his head and swallowed up his wrong. Your father was a fisherman, and a fine moontide fisherman, and one night fishing he caught a shining one. He took her home to be his wife, under the glint of his filleting knife, singing, you shall bear me three fine fisher boys and you'll never be free. Your father was a fisherman, and a fine moontide fisherman, and one night fishing he caught a shining one. He took her home to be his wife, under the glint of his filleting knife, singing, you shall bear me three fine fisher boys and you'll never be free. You shall bear me three fine fisher boys and you'll never be free. The fishing from that day became so bountiful that we all knew something was not right, but we stayed quiet. We became greedy quickly. All the fish wanted to be on the shore with the selkie, your mother, so they would just jump into our boats. And your mother, she would call with the whales on the moonlit nights, the siren song over and over, echoing through the harbour out to the sea. Everyone became entranced. We were scared and taken by her song, but still the fish came, unstoppable, dancing into our boats. And many, many moons passed, and so did it grow, your mother's longing, until late one night, your father fishing, she had you three bairns snuggled, tucked and snug in tight. She sang in the moonlight one last time. She began her song, the last song. It was the last song for all of us that day. But anyways, one by one, alone and together, as dawn awakens birds, they arose from their beds to her calling, one by one, to the harbour steps, down the steps onto the beach, as us menfolk snored, and all that was left was empty beds, creaking doors, their footprints in the sand. Your mother died that night singing her song, and we awoke to our women and daughters gone. How could such a fate have befallen us? And the men I was one ran to your house, and you boys were gathered up and put in the smoking sheds. And we found your mother, her body dulled and dead, and we carried her to the beach to wait for your father. Like time and time before, your father returned from his fishing, but this time his nets were empty, and us the men stood on the beach holding the body of your dead mother for him to see. And your father looked, and he did see. All of us silent, none of us a word. Your father didn't bother to throw off his lines, and all still without a word. Your father was taken, and us men, and I was one. We grabbed him, and we started tying him to the mast. He protested, of course, but our pain was so strong. We lay your mother at his feet, we pushed him out of the harbour and set him adrift. We gave him to the tide. All the men still in silence, and all that you could hear here was the sea, the wind, and the gulls, and your father crying for forgiveness. And us the men, we've never spoke of this curse, and our fishing got worse and worse. Many men got the sickness and died over the years, and we tried our best to look after you boys as we pushed down our tears. Please forgive us for what deeds we committed when we were young. We are just sad, lonely old fishermen here now, all alone. Our loved ones gone, sure this pain surely lingers. The truth has come at last, said the selkie boy, and now it is time for us all to return to the truth. Quiet your minds and listen. Can you hear them call? They're calling you. They have always been calling you. They have always been calling you. And at that, one by one, alone and together, as dusk returns the birds, the men arose from their seats to the calling, one by one, out of the brewhouse to the harbour steps, down the steps onto the beach and into the sea, footprints in the sand.
Swimming to our spawning grounds where the water's free. Found a soul of mackerel, skate and bass and bream. Swimming to our spawning grounds where the water's free.